in detail a better place. I felt it now, you. I found it new. It's filled with passion. I blow and dry.
Hey, this is Hellbilly with Rockstars Glued Radio, and I'm talking to the band Gabriels Hounds. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. So, can you introduce yourselves individually, and what do you do in the band?
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Nosp. I do vocals.
I'm Jamie Ernst, and I play bass.
I'm Kenny Gilbert, and I play guitar.
I'm Alex Wool, and I play guitar.
I'm Eric Reed, and I play drums.
Okay, cool. So, where y'all based from?
We're kind of all over, really. Mostly Price Hill. I'm from White Oak, kind of Coleraine area.
Just call it Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati-ish.
So what do you think about, I know I've been up here, like we was talking about before the interview, like all year long. So what do you think about the Cincinnati, might as well say, rock and metal scene now?
I think it's picking up. It was dead there for a while, but I think all the bands are really starting to kind of get together and, support each other, which is a huge thing.
That's what I was going to say. Get together and support each other.
Yeah.
And then, grow more.
Yeah, and just kind of all the band, and helping, instead of there being like competition and stuff, like that, people are starting to work together and promote each other and just helping, everybody's helping each other out.
All right, cool. Cool. So now, how long have y'all been a band?
I just joined the band probably a year ago.
We've been together about 7 years.
7 years.
It'll be 8 in August. Me, Kenny, and Jamie have been together since 2005.
Oh, wow.
And he
I
joined
joined in 5 years, I think. This February was 5 years for me.
Cool. So since y'all been a band, how do you feel the music industry has changed since y'all been a band?
The whole music industry is like the big leagues. I don't know. I would say there's definitely more independent style to it. People are starting to DIY it a little bit more. The perfect example would be like Protest the Hero and stuff, doing like Kickstarter pages and raising all the money for themselves to do their own record and support their tour and stuff like that. And I think starting to cut out the big, the heavy hitters and the labels. And it's the whole thing in general starting to become, like I said, kind of do-it-yourself.
Right.
Thing, I think.
Right. Cool. All right. So, now, growing up, did y'all ever picture yourself being in the band or being a musician?
Right offhand, no. I got into it when I was about 14, 15 years old, and after that, it just kind of, took off after that. But before then, I never picked up an instrument at all. So.
Oh, yeah. What about you all?
No, not really. Just kind of picked it up along the way, really.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Nirvana when I was 10 years old, and I knew from then that's what I wanted to do.
Now, how did y'all come up with the name Gabriels Hounds anyway?
Me and the original guitarist, which was before Kenny joined, we actually wanted to start a band, and we went over our friend's house, and there was a book of superstitions, and we actually literally just opened up the book to a random page and found it was the first definition that was on the top of the page, and we actually really liked the name, so we stuck with it.
Oh, cool. So what's y'all songwriting process is like for the band? Is it like a band, or is it like an individual musician, or how does it work, y'all's writing process?
It's kind of everything, really.
Yeah. Someone would be like, oh, hey, guys, I got this thing. And we'll be like, oh, cool. It's just kind of, bring off ideas,
yeah.
Right.
So, a lot of times, like Kenny and Eric will just be kind of working together on something, or like Kenny will write a riff, and then they'll flesh it out all together, and then, Alex will start putting crazy leads over it and stuff, and then I'll get some vocal ideas, or if I'm stuck, me and Eric will work together as far as like lyrics go and stuff like that. Or it happens too, like I'll come up, be sitting at home and have a riff and like, hey, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah.
Or we all just kind of pitch in.
Yeah.
It's not really like a one-sided deal.
Right. Now, writing lyrics, how did y'all come up with the lyrics? Is it like past experiences, dreams, or whatever?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times when like we work together on lyrics, or like Eric works on lyrics or stuff like that, it kind of has more of a supernatural kind of mythological kind of feel. And then when I write, it's a lot of like personal experiences, like trying to draw. If it's something like maybe I haven't gone through personally, I'll imagine that person's point of view of somebody who, I don't know, was dealing with, you know, an abusive relationship, or dealing with, you know, drug use or something like that. Just pardon the pun here, but struggling between, you know, different kind of forces. That's usually where I write from, so it's more relatable to a specific instance.
Cool. So now, out of all the songs that you've written or whatever, what's maybe one of the songs that maybe have special meaning to you, or you feel closer to the others? Any songs?
My favorite one's probably "Struggle Between," which is the title track for our EP. I think it's the first one that I really had like input in on writing, like since I started the band.
Right.
So I think that's my favorite one still.
Nice.
My favorite song is probably "Waste." I don't know, I just really like it, and John made me cry when I first read the lyrics, so it was just touching.
Oh, cool.
Probably favorite song would probably be "Mother's Love." It was one of the ones like I actually got to write like most of it and stuff, and I had a lot of help as far as, you know, like the guitar and the lyrics from John and Kenny, but it has a different feel than the rest of the songs, where a lot of the rest of the songs are really fast and technical and stuff. That's more laid back and kind of more like heaviness driven, and it always stuck out to me.
Mine would have to be "Heaven Sent, Hell Receive," basically because that song describes my guitar style, the way I play and everything. And I won't say all of it, most of it I created myself, and it was one I actually sat down and worked with. So it always personally stuck to me as the best.
Lyrically, I'd have to say "Deep Inside," which is a new song that we wrote off our new for our new EP. And I think mostly it's just because I really, exactly what I was saying before about trying to find somebody's point of view about something. Like that song in particular, like I really sat down and got into somebody else's kind of way of thinking and doing stuff, and just really, you know, kind of poured some stuff out. And that's probably subconsciously the most personal song lyrically that I have. So
cool. So how do you feel like you all evolved over the years since y'all been a band, and how you progressed as a band?
I don't know. Skip me.
I don't know. What would you guys say?
I think when we started, we were new, fresh, didn't really have none. We were just going off what was cool at our time. And as we've gained new members and proceeded on, we've actually gotten a lot better, a lot tighter. Our fan base has grown a little bit, and it's become more fun.
All right, cool. So, who is your musical influences as a band and as an individual musician?
I love Kurt Cobain personally. That's one of my biggies right there.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. He's just always been my favorite. Yeah.
Very cool.
Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders is probably my freaking idol. He's amazing. And then like Dimebag was probably my first biggest influence when I started listening to Pantera, is when I really started getting into metal.
Right.
And then Misha from Periphery.
Right.
Those are probably my favorite people right
cool.
now.
Cool.
When I first started playing, as corny as it sounds, I wanted to be like Joey Jordison, because Slipknot, you know, like I listened to Iowa, and that was like, that's how I want to be able to play drums. And then I still really, you know, love the way he plays and stuff. And then I've also started getting more influences from like Tim Young and George Callias and Shannon Lucas from Black Dahlia and stuff. So.
Well, I got influenced to play guitar by actually my friend James, and when he got me into the guitar. And a celebrity I'd have to say that I really enjoyed watching, it has to be Dimebag. His style really rocks.
Right.
Obviously, there's always going to be a place in my heart for like Nirvana and stuff, because that's what I first heard when I knew I wanted to do music. As far as metal, though, when I heard In Flames, that's what I decided that I want to be in a metal band.
Right.
That's kind of what I want to do. But then another big influence for me is kind of a lot different from everybody else's, but Scott Anderson from Finger 11 vocally, like if I do like clean style vocals, that's definitely the same suit that I'm kind of in. That would be mine.
Cool. So what kind of inspired you all to be a musician in the first place when you was younger? What kind of inspired you?
My mommy.
Your mommy?
Yeah, she taught me like a few chords on the acoustic guitar one day, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, okay, I'll try bass now. I just kind of, out of my ass, just was like, hey, I'll try bass, you know? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My dad always played guitar when I was younger, and still does. And then my brother started playing, and that's when I really started wanting to play. Once he started being like, hey, look what I can do, you know, I'm like, oh, I want to do that too. And I guess, I don't know, I was probably 10 or 11 when I got my first guitar, and I've been playing ever since.
All right, cool.
When I started, it was back in high school, and my friends wanted to start, playing. I was like, oh, well, I can't play guitar. I can't play this. Oh, I'll get a drum set.
Yeah.
And I just bought a cheap $300 drum set and started playing on it. And after that, it just kind of took off. I enjoyed it so much. I kept playing with it.
I went over to Eric's, one of his first band's practice, and like I said, I ran into James Hughes, and he's, I watched him play, and I liked everything he was doing, the fingers and styles and everything. I was just like, man, I really want to do that, so I picked up the guitar.
Yeah, growing up, like I said, when I was over at my neighbor's house and heard like Nirvana and Green Day and stuff, and then he bought a Fender Strat, and then I was like, let me pick that up, and then it was just like, I don't know, as corny as I said, it was like a electrifying, life-changing experience right there. And then and then growing up, like when I was in grade school and stuff, I took drum lessons for the school band, and then it was just anything that makes noise that I can find, I want to play it, and I want to touch it, and make it do something cool.
Right.
As best to my ability.
Right, cool. So is there any other band or musician would you like to either work in the studio with later on down the road, or even share the stage with? Any other bands or musicians?
I would love to either collaborate or work with Flea from the Chili Peppers, because he's kind of always been an idol of mine, and that would be pretty awesome.
That's sweet.
In the future.
Yep.
There's so many, probably like Lamb of God, Animals as Leaders, fucking yeah, I could go on forever. My buddy, he's probably the best guitar player I know. I've always wanted to play with him. Hopefully one day it'll happen. I don't know.
Band-wise and stuff, I'd love to be able to play or share the stage with bands like Dolly of Murder and As I Lay Dying and stuff like that. Like over the years, they've become big influences. So it'll be a lot of fun. Cool.
Well, my main influence that got me into this was Slipknot, so it would be a dream to play with them. But if I had to choose which one to play with today that I think I want to get my sound towards, I'd like to play with Killswitch Engage.
Wow, awesome.
Share the stage with definitely In Flames or Slipknot, I guess. Studio-wise, Corey Taylor. And if I ever got to be in a session and sit down and make music with Dave Grohl, that would be a dream come true.
Right. Awesome. So is there any advice you could give younger musicians or bands that's out there that's just now getting started? Any advice?
Practice.
Practice and practice and practice, and then practice some more, and then when you're done with that, practice again.
All right.
That's pretty much, just keep going.
Same thing, just keep practicing.
And then you're going to get pissed off because you can't do it, but you're going to keep going.
Right.
Probably the biggest advice, as much as I hate to say it, like if you're really serious about starting a band and getting recognized, unfortunately don't pay just attention to the music, but think of yourself, like when you get a band together, actually brand it and start working towards the branding image and really create like an identity that you can kind of base off. And then whether that influences your music or you pull your image from the music you're making, it all kind of like melds into one thing. So I think that's one thing that, when people first start, they don't think about like at all. Aside from being like the best musician you can be, which is practice, but when it comes to like a band and actually making a name for yourself and getting recognized, definitely think outside the box and think of, you know, how you're portrayed to other people as well.
So, what do you see as your biggest challenges nowadays being in a band, anyway, a metal band at that? Some of your challenges?
Keeping it original, because just there's like, you know, a whole bunch of metal bands around here. It's like, oh, what do you guys sound like? It's like, oh, we're a metal, you know.
Right.
Keeping something original, something to stick in somebody's memory. That's what I like to try to do.
Right.
Yeah, like she said, I mean, you have to, there's a million musicians out there and a million more that sound the same.
Right.
And I mean, like, also, like, it's hard, you know, because we don't really make much money for coming and playing shows. Like, it can make it hard sometimes with, you know, just all the expenses of recording and equipment and, you know, everything. Like, there's just so many aspects to it that you got to try to keep together. It's hard to do.
Right.
I think one of the hardest thing is actually when it comes to, like, it sounds bad, but the fans and stuff, like trying to get a lot of people to come, because, you know, you play more than one, you want to play more than one show a month, but if you do that, like, you have a hard time when it comes to, like, getting people to one show and then try to get them to come, like, 2 weeks later or something like that, and it's kind of hard to keep people interested and keep them wanting to come to every show and things like that, which in the end kind of makes you suffer a little bit, because, you know, you come to one show and you got 50 people coming for you, and then you go to the next show and you have like 3.
Right.
And it kind of makes you look bad as far as, you know, to like business owners and stuff like that. So kind of hurts you there.
Right.
Like they said, keep it original. Don't stop trying. Just because you have 3 people at a show does not mean your next show ain't going to be the badass show that you've been wanting. Just don't give up. It's hard and it's a long journey, but you got to keep going.
Right.
What was the question? The hardest thing?
What's some of the challenges to overcome?
Challenges.
Being a musician nowadays.
Yeah, I don't have much input as far as like keeping it original.
Right.
Coming up with as far as like lyrical ideas, coming up with stuff that you haven't said already. So again, originality. Don't repeat yourself. Writing songs that, like, oh, this is the exact same riff I play in that song, just strummed differently, you know, or the picking pattern's different. Right. Yeah, just keeping it fresh and keeping it
Fresh, good word. Fresh.
aggressive and keeping it the fire, keeping that going. So
cool. So after the night here at the Thompson House, where will Gabriels Hounds go from here?
Our next biggest thing is our CD release show on March 30th at the Madison Theater for our new EP entitled The Struggle Between. And then from there, just a blasting, you know, getting that as much recognition and airplay and notoriety, I guess, as it can get, and see what kind of legs we have behind that. Right. And then, you know, just booking a lot more shows.
Right. If you can see in the future, where will you all be here for a year today? If you can see in the future.
Hopefully not in Cincinnati and somewhere else. Right. That's what I'm hoping. That's all I got for you.
Right.
It would be great to, you know, travel around and start playing outside the area, getting it known everywhere else. But I could still see us being here, just working further out there to get our, you know, recognized more, just not in this area.
Cool. That's awesome. So, well, what all sites can people find Gabriels Hounds at? All the sites.
We're kind of like all over. Our website, gabrielshounds.org. Facebook, of course. Reverb Nation.
Pure Volume. MySpace.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah,
MySpace.
Pretty much any site we can get our name on and sign up to for free.
Yeah. Right. And then, you know, as far as airplay goes, you've been helping terrifically with that.
Thank you.
Shout out to Rockstars Glued for sure. You know, Metal X.
WEBN.
WEBN is definitely a big one. You know, Native Noise and Damnation Alley. Yeah.
That's cool. So anyway, like, what do you think about social media sites like MySpace and Facebook? What's the pros and cons? Does it help a band out, or some bands even thinks it might hurt a band out nowadays?
It's definitely good because it gives you experience. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Exposure. Thank you. Exposure to like more people and a new audience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it makes some bands like lazy and take value in things that aren't necessarily as important. And then cons, I think it's making bands less creative and not work as hard. You know, like back in the day, you would have to create street teams and get your friends to like help you promote and go out and put flyers and be at other shows and like, hey, come to our show, you know. And then people, you know, now just send out 100 invites and they think they're done.
Facebook. There you go.
Yeah.
Facebook.
But people get so flooded in their inbox with invites to like 100 different things, so your stuff kind of gets hidden. So that's definitely a con.
Right.
It loses that personal connection.
Right.
I think.
Cool. So, is there any pre-rituals like for you, especially being like the vocals, since the weather's changing or anything? Does it hurt your vocals any, or?
Yeah, I do like a little warm up and stuff beforehand. My biggest ritual, I have to be like have my minute like alone to just kind of like warm up and do my own thing, because frankly they're silly.
Yeah.
They all make fun of me for doing the bumblebee thing, which is a joke. But yeah, I mean, as far as like warm ups and just kind of have a minute just to clear my head, and then just not think about anything else except going out and just doing what we do.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking your all's time out and talk to me today. And I got one more question. I'll let y'all go. What does music mean to you?
Music is, I know this is a deep one. Music is like, it's like a #1 inspiration, really. It's like #1 art form inspiration. It's like the color of, it's just, I don't know, it's just, without it, life would be dull.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
It's like a universal language, like everyone likes music, and that's the best way to connect with someone. Like, oh, hey, you like the same music as me, like we all have the same interests. I mean, it's a great emotional outlet. I've never been that good with words. I'm better at making sounds come out to say what I want to get across.
Right.
So like, I don't know. It's probably the most important thing in my life. I love music.
Cool.
For me, music is like everything I do. I mean, even at work, I constantly have music going. I'm constantly looking, constantly trying to look for new bands and stuff like that, and constantly looking, different influences and stuff. I find new drummers and find different stuff they do, and it's a big influence as far as finding new stuff that I can maybe tweak and add and work on and stuff like that. And it's always been it's been a big influence and a big part of my life for the last 10-15 years or so.
Cool. Music basically is an emotion thing, like you said earlier. I mean, when you write songs as a guitarist, you'll write this one song that's really clean, really slow, kind of, that's how you feel at the time. And next thing you know, you make another song that's really aggressive and heavy. There's just another way to let out anger and everything. So basically, music to me is just a way to show emotions through sounds.
Music is my second love. Basically, besides my wife and my family and everything like that, music is my mistress that I visit on the side.
Right.
And I can confide in, and when everything else seems to fall apart or there's nothing else I can turn to, I can pick up a guitar and it's what understands me, you know what I mean? It's always there, and so it's just, like I said, it's just a love and a passion, and music has changed my life. It's influenced me and kind of developed me into the person, that I've become, and it helped me meet some of, my best friends through music. So it's like I said, my second love.
Right, cool. I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
We are Gabriels Hounds, and you're listening to Rockstars Glue Radio.
Forgive me before it's too